In the entire span of human history, only a handful of people have ever built truly massive fortunes. Andrew Carnegie was one of them: complicated, brilliant, ruthless, generous. All at once. When he sold his company, his net worth was equal to 2% of the entire US GDP. That's the level we're talking about. Today, we read diving into how a poor Scottish immigrant with barely 5 years of schooling climbed his way from absolute poverty to the top of the world. A journey that shows just how powerful education and opportunity can be. A childhood shaped by poverty. Carnegie wasn't born in America. His story begins across the Atlantic, in Dunfermline, Scotland. He grew up in conditions that can only be described as brutally poor. His mother stitched shoes late into the night. His father wove fabric by hand right before steam-powered looms arrived and destroyed craftsmen like him. The Industrial Revolution crushed the Carnegie family. Watching his father beg for work left a deep mark on young Andrew. In 1848, the family sold everything they had, borrowed £20, and boarded a ship to America, the land of opportunity. They landed in Pittsburgh, but opportunity didn't exactly roll out a red carpet. His parents struggled to find work, so young Andrew dropped out of school to help support the family, becoming a telegraph prodigy. Carnegie's first real break came when he got a job as a messenger boy in a hot, cramped telegraph office. He memorized every face he delivered to, every shortcut through the city, and even learned to decode Morse messages by ear. That skill caught the attention of Thomas Scott, the regional manager of the Pennsylvania Railroad, the biggest corporation on earth at the time. Scott hired Carnegie as his personal telegraph operator and secretary. Salary, $35 a month, big money back then. Scott became a second father to him, teaching him business, leadership, and importantly, how to invest. This is where Carnegie got his first taste of capitalism. War, profit, and the first big move during the Civil War, Carnegie was drafted, but paid $850 for a substitute to take his place. A common practice at the time. He noticed something during the war. Wooden bridges burned easily. The army desperately needed iron bridges, so he founded the Keystone Bridge Company. But his genius wasn't just in building bridges. He built the entire ecosystem around them. He owned the mines. He owned the iron mills. He owned the bridge company. And he sold steel rails to the railroads afterward. 3 companies feeding each other. Vertical integration before the term even existed. The Steel Revolution in 1856, Henry Bessemer invented the Bessemer converter, a machine that made mass-producing steel possible for the first time. For America, this meant skyscrapers, railroads, modern cities, and for Carnegie, the chance of a lifetime. He moved fast, built some of the first steel plants in the United States, hired the best engineers money could buy, and squeezed every drop of efficiency possible. He forced workers to grind through 364 days a year. July 4th was their only day off. Whenever new technology emerged, Carnegie replaced people with machines. Machines didn't sleep. They didn't demand raises. They never formed unions. Destroying the competition, Carnegie avoided putting his own name on his mills. Instead, he named one after a major client, James Edgar Thompson. It worked. Thompson rewarded him with a massive order of steel rails. But Carnegie wasn't just smart. He was ruthless. He hired a cold, calculated manager, Henry Clay Frick. Together, they spread rumors that a rival mill Duquesne produced defective steel. Total lie, but effective. They spoke of lack of homogeneity, a phrase almost no one understood, but everyone feared. Within 2 years, Duquesne was bankrupt. Carnegie bought it for cheap. The rule was simple: win at any cost. The Homestead disaster by the early 1890s, inequality in America was exploding. The rich were getting richer faster than ever. Workers were barely surviving. At Carnegie's Homestead Mill, things boiled over. Frick demanded longer hours and lower wages. 10,000 angry workers went on strike. Frick locked them out and hired hundreds of strikebreakers. To escort them, he brought in 300 armed Pinkerton agents. The result? A gunfight so violent it became known as the Homestead Massacre. 9 workers killed. 7 Pinkertons killed. Hundreds wounded. State militia had to be called in. Carnegie? He was in Scotland during the whole thing, and Americans never forgave him for that. His public image as a friend of workers shattered overnight. The biggest buyout in U.S. history. Despite the tragedy, Carnegie Steel grew into a monster. By 1900, it produced more steel than the entire British Empire. But Carnegie was nearing 70. He wanted out. J.P. Morgan, rising financial titan, made him an offer. Carnegie wrote down a number on a slip of paper. Morgan looked at it once and said, "I accept." $480 million, about $17 billion in today's money. Carnegie instantly became the richest man in the world. The philanthropist, after selling his company, Carnegie completely abandoned business. He dedicated the rest of his life to giving his money away. He believed education saved him, so he built over 2,500 libraries across the world. Only a fraction carried his name. He funded universities, research centers, peace foundations, and even built what would later be renamed Carnegie Hall. From 1901 until his death in 1919, giving away his fortune became his full-time job. A man of contradictions, Carnegie was brilliant. Carnegie was generous. Carnegie was ruthless. Carnegie was hypocritical. He preached worker rights, yet cut their wages. He talked about safety, yet ignored dangerous conditions. He built libraries, after building an empire on the backs of exploited labor. He was complicated as the wealth he built.